Hello, this is Max, or the Technomancer, here doing Crossroads playtesting. I'm just in the little XP farm that I have, this little zombie spawner one. Very simple, the zombies float up. Another one of those things I did off camera, I think. I did a lot of things off camera because this isn't a typical series. I don't really do a lot of stuff off camera. This is from ages ago, this thing. Anyways, I'm down here because this is where my anvil is. So last episode we got a hold of some Copshoium, which is very good, because Copshoium is pretty much crucial for technomancy. The majority of it, at least. Well, I suppose you could debate whether it's the important bit or the less. I'd say it's the majority. Oh, look, there's zombies. So what I'm going to make first is some glass, because I forgot to get that. Hold on. Right. So first thing that I want to make are some modular detailed crafting table, not a normal one. How about I craft them in the base where I have everything and then go do the thing with the anvil? Modular goggles. They only take one Copshoium ingot and they're quite useful, so I'm not afraid to make them. I've got 22 ingots of Copshoium and I could pretty easily make some more actually. That once I worked out the quirks of what I was doing, of how to use Bobo's system to create Copshoium, it's pretty easy to do. There we go. Modular goggles. They're a headpiece. And they sort of don't really... my skin has goggles, sort of. So let me just disable those just so I don't have two sets of goggles. There we go. Pretty boring, these goggles, looking. And they don't do anything, so why'd I make them? Well, they're not decorative. As you can see, lenses, none. I need to socket in some crystals. And different crystals will do different things. Basically, these goggles are a replacement or an upgrade for the Omnimeter. Because yes, I needed another tier of measuring device. So there's, I could tell the truth and spoil a Bobo item, or I could lie and not spoil a Bobo item. I'm gonna go with lie. There's 4 different lenses you can put in this thing. And I think I've just given away what the Bobo item is in some level, haven't I? But yes, there's 4 lenses you can put in this thing. Each one will measure something different. So, an emerald will measure, I think emeralds is either gears or fluids. I always mix up the two for which lens is which. It doesn't matter because I can put them all in. A diamond is the other one. So the emerald's either fluids or gears, and diamond is the other one. A ruby does heat, and then a piece of pure quartz does, well, it's a good thing I'm at my XP farm. Does of magic. Now, the thing about the goggles is that you just have to look at something, and it'll give you information on it, for one thing. For another thing, there's information that it'll give you that the normal Omnimeter won't give you. Another thing is it won't spam your chat. It deletes the previous messages. Not all previous messages. If I type that in, it won't delete the t, but it won't. But you see, the Omnimeter just fills it up, and it won't do that. And also, there's certain stuff later in Technomancy that absolutely requires these goggles, otherwise you're going to go insane trying to work out how to do it. I'm referring to something called fields, where in order to see the things, you need goggles with a ruby and emerald lens, but that's later on, once again. Like, there's certain things that it's like, ratiators are measured by quartz and so on, and they can measure a lot of stuff. Zombie, please. Give me XP. There, come on. I just need one more level. I'm at level 1. It shouldn't be that hard to... There we go. Yep, there we go. I can finally add in these. I made sure to code it so that adding additional pieces would not increase the cost of adding lenses, because I didn't want to do that. There we go, goggles. They provide no protection, and they're indestructible. So I no longer have my protective helmet, though I guess if I go into combat, I'll put that on. Also, you might have noticed that my goggles have changed their appearance. Before, they were just 2 pieces of glass in like normal lenses, normal glasses. Now, like, the rubies made one of the eyepieces red, the emerald made another one green, there's a little white corner in the green one from the quartz, and then there's a little blue attachment from the diamond. So, yeah. So let's give these things a try. Okay. If I just look at something, see, it's not filling up my chat. That T is staying in the same place. But, yeah, I can just look at stuff. And it'll just keep me supplied with the information, updating constantly. It's very nice. Very nice indeed. Much more handy than having to carry around an omnimeter and clicking on things. So if I just look around, like look at some of the extra information it's giving me is stuff like if I look at a gear, where's the nearest gear? It also has quite a long range, though not an infinite one. Certainly not an infinite range. There's a fusion beam around. Let me get rid of that. Ratiators and all that I can measure. There's some gears. I can't quite see them. Oh, I looked. There we go. See that? See, it's telling me the rotation ratio, so that's handy. Which is involved in the calculations for energy distribution and speed. Like, normally there's nothing that displays rotation ratio. You have to calculate it yourself. But hey, now I can see it. Quite easily. In fact. So nice goggles. That's just a handy thing to have. So the goggles are made now. We need to make the thing that the real goal is here, the gateway. And I need two of these, two sets of 3, because it takes 3 to build a portal, and ideally I'd like to be able to get home. And I need 2 more obsidian. Let me get 2 more obsidian. See, I'm just demonstrating another thing the goggles can do. You can see it's telling me the pressure of the fluid container that I'm looking at as well. See, it's got all sorts of tricks. All sorts of tricks. So now I've got my gateway frames. But I also need to control these things somehow, right? With gears and so on. Well, at least I need to control them on the inside of the dimension with gears. So I'd like to have a few things to help me with that. For example, I want some redstone master axes and some redstone keyboards. Neither of which use copshoium, if I recall correctly. So redstone axis. Although the master I'm actually going to use the cheap, in air quotes, master access recipe, just so I use less iron. Yes. One thing I have not yet implemented, because I don't actually know how, is I have not implemented the whole right-clicking, or shift-left-clicking, sorry, the question mark in JEI to auto-insert. Okay, that's a bug. I don't know exactly what's going on. I'm just gonna back away slowly. What? I'm backing away from my keyboard. That has never happened before. Let me work on this. Also, I should not have gotten 29 of those things. Okay, when I actually clicked any of the items, it updated and it removed the extra master axes and everything went back to normal. Okay, so it didn't actually do that. It was a glitch that had it was like a render glitch, basically, but I still need to fix that. There, I fixed the bug. I haven't updated the server, this client yet, though, so I'll do that next time, after the episode ends. Where was I when I found that bug? Yes, making master axes, for redstone master axes. Where was that? Yes. Bronze nuggets. And, yeah. And what exactly all these redstone thingamajiggers do, I'll show later. See, I've fixed this, I just haven't installed the fix yet. Just so, yeah. Where was I? Redstone keyboard. There we go. Just bronze with redstone around it. You'd think that, considering I'm the one who wrote these recipes, I'd remember them, but no. Why would I do something like that, like remember my own recipes? Don't be ridiculous. You're crazy. Yes, see, there was something else I wanted to make with copshoium. Yes, I need gears. I need copshoium gears. I'm gonna want one more Kopshoyum ingot. Let me go make that. I spilled molten Kopshoyum on myself. Ow. 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 Word of advice, don't do that. Ow. Sorry, not molten Kopshoyum. I spilled molten copper on myself, which is also bad. Equally bad, in fact. Okay. Alright, so I've now gotten a bit more Kopshoyum and made some gears, and I've got some ratiators and such. So we basically got everything we need to build the portal to go to this other dimension. And we've technically got the materials for the portal back, but we don't have the materials to power it. I do, however, have, and this is a good thing, I have got the gears and such that I need to probably dial the portal once I have got it powered. Mind you, not dial it very well. Just well enough to get me home, give or take. A region, give or take. I'm gonna want a large platform, so I don't have to dial it too precisely, right? Once I've got more Kopshoyum, I can make a more precise dialing device. And this, yeah. But I still need a way to power it, the portal, with a rift beam. So I'm gonna need to be able to bring with me everything I need to at least temporarily run a rift beam. Like, yeah. Let me get some stuff for that. Alright, so this is what I've come up with. This is a mock-up of what I'm going to build inside the dimension for the power source. It runs on salt and redstone dust, which I have to insert. Now, I'm kind of considering, actually, trying to make it more efficient by making it like one of those power plants that's specialized just for Rift. Actually, let me try that. Let me try making a mock-up of that. Let's see if that works. I think I want to try making a mini specialized power plant just for Rift, using technomancy instead of this normal stuff. Instead of ordinary magic, we're going to use technomancy instead. It's sort of an ordinary magic. It's sort of a self-contradiction, isn't it? Okay. So what I'm going to need to do this is something called a mechanical beam splitter. 2 more of those redstone master axes. A few more ratiators. Another redstone keyboard, and something called a multiplication master axis. It's gonna be, well, you'll see. Let me get these things. This seems to be working. Okay, let me demonstrate this device. This is a way of doing that power plant system that I explained at length before, where there's no rounding. Except, of course, we're stuck with integers, but all the we're not stuck doing it in chunks of 1/15th. Right? We can do any sized fraction we like. So, how does this work? Because there's several new devices in this that you haven't seen before, because they're new to technomancy. So some rift gets put into this loop. Okay, sure. The important bit here is how we manage it. So this ratiator reads the amount of rift going through here. Now this is a redstone master axis, and unlike most master axes, where the speed is just based on the amount of energy in the system, in technomancy there's a lot of master axes where the speed is determined by outside stimuli. That is to say, I don't care how much energy you put in this system, the speed of the gear attached to the axis itself will be equal to the strength of the redstone signal it receives, and it can use ratiator signals and decimal points and all that stuff. Alright, and then of course the other speeds will follow based on like the radiuses and radii and so on. So if you have gears that have mass, like iron gears, you're going to need to provide energy to this block by attaching another gear to the bottom that has energy in it that it will draw to spin the others. But if you can have a massless network, like one made of Kopshoyum, then you don't need to supply any energy, and they can spin at whatever speed you like. Now, with a normal master axis, you can't make a network entirely out of zero mass gears. It just won't work, because, you know, what's going to determine the speed? You can have zero mass gears in it, but it must have something with mass in there somewhere. With something with their technomancy axes, you don't need. You can have an entirely zero mass network, and that's why Showing gears are so important. So we've got this spinning at that speed of the amount of power in the beam. Now it goes over to this thing. Now this is a multiplication axis. It can also do division. This one is doing division. You can toggle which mode it's in with a redstone signal. So it's got a redstone signal. Sorry. While let me see here. Oh, while tinkering around the system, I actually broke the redstone signal. Let me put that back. Sorry. Just before I hit record, I was sick of having to kill the mobs that spawned as a result of all the rift beams. So I moved that there. Let me put that back. There we go. That should work now, just fine. Okay. So this is in divide mode. So it divides, so the output speed will be equal to the speed in the back here, which as you can see is quite fast, it's 30, divided by the top speed times -1. Now the reason for the times -1, and also in multiplication mode it also multiplies by -1, is there's a really complicated little model in there. See that? There's tons of tiny gears, there's continuous transmissions, there's springs, there's ratchets in that thing. It's pretty complicated. If you follow the model through, you see it actually swaps the direction. And that's why I do the -1. It's not hard to reverse direction. You just add another gear and it's spinning the opposite way, and that's times -1 again, so it's fine. You just have to make sure to note that. This is a redstone keyboard. You can literally just type in whatever number you like. Sure. Put a ratiator on it, and it'll measure that number. You can't do negatives, though. You're not allowed to do negatives. So I hooked that into a redstone master axis, and boom, constant. There we go. 30. Pretty simple device, the redstone keyboard. You can use it. I would have used one for inputting into this thing, but I couldn't be bothered to make another keyboard and ratiator. They're pretty cheap, though. This thing is sort of the key to this system here, the mechanical beam splitter. Unlike most beam splitters, the other two, this one actually has, if you see one of the sides has this little orange ring on it, and that orange ring is in the direction you place it. You can point that different ways. If you attach a gear to that side, the speed of the gear determines the ratio it splits. So it takes the speed of the gear divided by 15, and that's how much of the incoming magic will go down. And it rounds everything as necessary. But so that means we can do 6.23 divided by 15 if necessary. We can do whatever. Now, if the speed exceeds 15, you're not going to get free magic. And also, if you spin in a negative direction, it treats that as 0, so it just goes all upwards. So direction is important with this device. So if I just demonstrate this thing in action, let me just put in 8 salt and 8 redstone dust, and flip this lever. We're going to see, let me just put these blocks here to try and kill anything that spawns maybe. It's going to send a beam downwards for quite a long time. Darn it, a slime got through. I don't know what, this must be I don't know how there's slime spawning here. I mean, it's not like this is a swamp. Okay, see, it's still going. 8 redstone dust and 8 salt. It's still going, and that's a 1-1 beam that's going downwards. So, sorry, I had to pause for a moment, but it's still going. It's still going. Hold on. Sorry, my demonstration of how long it lasted was ruined by someone walking in, and I had to pause, and that sort of ruins the point of being able to show how long it lasts, so let's do that again. Sorry. That's sort of a fault on my end. Okay, let's do that again. So from 8 salt and 8 redstone, this is how long this lasts. And remember, the important thing here is that beam going downwards. While that's going on in the corner of the screen, let's look at this beautiful, beautiful contraption. You can see things move. I hear a creeper. Oh, good, suffocating. You can see little springs moving up and down, and oh, we're done. We're down to the flickering bit. Once it starts flickering on and off, we're done. Okay. There we go. You might have noticed I'm using a log instead of a piece of cobblestone to hit it. That's because, Rift does things to cobblestone. Silverfish things. Yeah, if you hit a material that can contain a silverfish with a rift beam, it puts a silverfish in it. So that's why I'm using wood. Because they have not yet invented, I don't know, what would it be, a copperfish that could be the color of wood? Sure. Sure, a copperfish. Why not? Oh, and just the excess stability from when I'm splitting the salt to make the ratios work is just going up here. Quite a bit of it. Feels like it would be sort of a waste not to send that straight back into the return line. Where is the return line? Yeah. One of these is the return line. That's the return line. Okay, if I just, that way's north? Yes. So that's lined up into the... At the very least, I can try and get some of this back. I don't think I can possibly get... I mean, I could possibly get all of it, I guess, but... Yeah, let me try and just return this. I mean, the system is temporary. This is a temporary system, but still, I don't want to waste it. Crap. Well, it's wasted now. Oh well. So let me tear this thing down and get ready to build the portal. So I've gotten Elytra on. I'm going to try this new rocket launching thing, because I haven't tried that yet. Maybe this will kill me. I don't know. Ow. Yeah. Judging from my prior experience using the Elytra, this is going to kill me, isn't it? I mean, I'm going to try and get to 0-0. How does one... Oh, do you actually have to be already in flight? Because that could be problematic. Because I can never manage to take off. Yes, there we go. Got it. I can fly! Anyways, I want to go to 0-0. Like I said. The reason being that, remember, that portal back is going to link to 0-0-0 by default. Now, ideally, I want to minimize the amount of... Now, I can only dial it while it's open, and every time it closes, I have to redial it, right? Well, I'm just letting you know that that is how it works. So the trick there is, quite frankly, this is cool. Sorry, I can't, I'm trying to look, I'm paying attention to flying and also talking at the same time, because I'm not very experienced at either of those. Okay, there we go, I'm alive. So ideally, I'd like to minimize the amount of fuel that has to be consumed to run the portal, so just to be safe and, you know, just efficient in general. So a good way to do that would be to dial fewer coordinates, right? So if instead of having to dial 3 coordinates, x, y, and z, I'll only dial y. I would dial none of them, except that would put me in the void, because 0y is in bedrock and just, like, either suffocate or fall through the void. It doesn't really matter which one. They're both bad. So I'm going to make a bit of a platform, which is going to be like my return home. My return to the overworld place. Right. Okay. Okay, so this way out a bit. So the trick here is that I am not proper. Like, the correct way to prepare for going to this dimension is, well, you see the order things are in here. This dimension is down here, right, like halfway through. Ideally, I should have properly progressed through this half first instead of skipping ahead, but I skip ahead even when I'm the one setting the progression, so Ideally, I'd have a good supply of Capshoium. I'd have a proper magic production setup design that I could easily bring through and have infinite magic on that end, and I'd have all the materials I need to make a proper dialing system that I've tested in the overworld, but nah. We're going to bootstrap this. Hey. Fun fact. Origin of the term bootstrapped, it used to mean something that was impossible. Sometimes I'm inclined to agree with that definition. Just sometimes. There is a very real possibility that we will be stranded in that dimension with the only way home being killing ourselves. So I'm gonna put the shulker boxes down first on that end so that if I die I can bring stuff back, right? I'm not going to build the portal here, though. This is just the return point, right? So, let me just make sure that there's no risk of mobs over here. I don't have to... I mean, if I wanted to, I could make the return point be literally a 1x1, 2-block tall 1x1 area, because the portal doesn't have inaccuracy in its placement. It puts you right on the spot you've dialed in every time, but... You know, just to be safe, and also because I don't want to be cramped in. I'm just building a little wall. We need to build a wall to keep the creepers out, and we're going to make the creepers pay for it with their gunpowder to pay for their firework rockets so that we can get here and back, which they did. We're already delivering on... jokes. Why is there a cow up here? This is sort of like being on the top of... Well, not Mount Everest, but like... I feel like there shouldn't be a cow up this high. I mean, it's Minecraft, so sure, why not? There's flowers deep underground where there's no sunlight, or soil, but, you know, why not? Sure. I just don't want any mobs hopping my wall. And then I installed light level overlay reloaded, as you can see, so let me just make sure that they can't spawn on the wall. Oh, I took my boots off. Right, there we go. I keep pressing F7 by default. Okay. To toggle that. Okay, there we go. We're here. All's good. So we've got a safe return point. Well, safe in air quotes. Oh, you know what we need? We need some sort of way of launching ourselves off to so we can get started flying. Oh, look, a way to get launched off so we can get started flying. That's convenient. Spams every button to start the thing except the right one. Okay. Let me make sure I'm wearing the elytra, take off the chicken boots, don't want to waste them. There we go. Okay. And we're going to want to be, when we come home, we're going to want to be, let me write that. When I land, I'm going to write down the Y coordinate approximately we want to hit. Okay, let me see if I can manage to stick the landing. Almost. Okay, we're going to want to be, what was it, Y74, greater than equal, let's just say 78, just to be safe. Just writing that down, so I don't over or undershoot. Very important that. Let me put my proper protection on. There we go. Now, how do we build this portal? Well, why do I feel like I left behind a shulker box? Hold on. I'm getting better at this whole takeoff thing. Although, it's not so much that I have trouble when trying to jump off a cliff. It's more when I've got some sort of launcher, TNT launcher, slime block launcher, then I can never seem to take off. I know that you can only take off when you're actually falling downwards. If you have upward velocity, it doesn't work, and the only reason I know this is because I read the code trying to work out what I was doing wrong. Yet I can never manage it. It's weird. Okay. Alright, so to build this portal, technically all we actually need is 3 gateway frames. However, come on, we can make this look fancy. I mean, when I wrote the code for these portals, I sort of made it with a certain design intention in mind. Intention in mind, what a phrase. With a certain design in mind, but I mean, you don't need to do this design. So what you do is you place one like this, 3 blocks across, and another one pointing inwards. That's 2/3 of our portal already. Now, the third bit is in the top, pointing down. There we go. Now you can have blocks in this thing if you want. If you want to, you can fill this thing up. It'll still work. I mean, it might be harder to get into it, but it'll still activate. It's not like another portal where it needs an empty interior. So you can use that to decorate as you will or whatever. I'm just gonna, I mean, technically I've got all the blocks placed that I need, but I'm just gonna make it fancy, you know, maybe stone brick it up, because, you know, fancy. Just, I mean, anyone who has looked at my base at all can tell that clearly clearly I'm form over function. Anyone who's looked at my base, any of my bases ever can see that. Yep. No. Not even close. But still, I'm gonna put a little bit of sprucing up so it's not just a few floating blocks. There we go. There, it's got like a nice frame. Fancy. I mean, ideally it wouldn't be in the wall, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Great. We're lit up around here, good, because entities can go through other than players as well. Anything can go through, just a warning. Now, we need this rift beam here, this machine, I'm hijacking this machine that I never finished, to be the power source. We need to put a rift beam into the top of the top. Top of the top, yes. We need a rift beam going to this block here into the top side, like so. Okay, great, just top notch. Hold on, let me just get my Rod of Discord, my jellyfish on a stick. There we go. Jellyfish on a stick powers. Well, before we step through this thing, you know, before I make a horrible, horrible mistake and go through ill-prepared, let me just make sure I've got all my shulker boxes on me. I'm fairly certain I've got everything. I'm just gonna, should we do, well, let's just see what happens, shall we? What could go wrong? Wait, I've got fuel. I've got my fuel thing filled up. Yep, I've got loads of salt and redstone. Good. Well, let's turn this thing on. And back away as well. There we go, it's pulsating. You see that texture in the middle? I wonder who drew that. Terrible swirl. I should make it make like a wumming noise, like another portal. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Well, I'm getting the episode here. We'll continue this next episode. Goodbye.